So, when you think about legendary explorers, names like Marco Polo, maybe Ibn Battuta, they probably come to mind first, right?
Absolutely. They're the big names we all learn about.
But what if I told you there was this other figure, centuries ago, a Somali scholar, a diplomat,
Hmm.
who traveled all the way from the Horn of Africa to China?
That's Saeed of Mogadishu, an incredible, often overlooked story.
Exactly.
Mm.
And that's our mission today, really,
Hmm.
to sort of unpack Said's life.
Hmm.
We want to look at these, surprising global connections, the knowledge, the diplomacy Africa was involved in way before we usually think.
Long before those colonial narratives took hold.
Right, and we're drawing this from Said of Mogadishu, global Somali scholar and diplomat. Specifically, some really fascinating bits from an Ayrotv article.
Yeah, it offers a great perspective.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Said's journey kicks off around 1301 in Mogadishu. Now, Mogadishu then, it wasn't just any place, was it?
No, definitely not. In the 14th century, it was the capital of the Ajuran Sultanate, a really thriving cosmopolitan city.
A major trading hub.
Oh, absolutely. It was connecting Africa directly with Arabia, with Asia, a real melting pot cultures, ideas, goods. Perfect place to spark that kind of curiosity Said clearly had.
And even as a teenager, he was already looking for deeper Islamic learning.
That's right. He wasn't just, going through the motions. He pursued it intensely.
What did that look like? I mean, beyond basic religious teaching.
Well, we're talking serious, rigorous study, Quranic analysis, hadith, Islamic law, fiqh. And get this, he spent 14 years studying in Mecca.
14 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then another 14 years in Medina.
So nearly 3 decades dedicated just to study and diplomacy.
Exactly. This wasn't tourism. This deep immersion really built his reputation. He became this highly respected scholar, a deep thinker. It gave him not just spiritual knowledge, but real diplomatic skills, too.
Which leads us to this really fascinating encounter later on. The sources say he traveled to India and met Ibn Battuta there.
That's the
Right.
account. Imagine that meeting.
Two giants of global travel and scholarship from totally different parts of the Muslim world. What do you think they talked about?
Oh, you have to figure they compared notes. Politics, trade routes, maybe debated different interpretations of faith they'd encountered.
A proper meeting of minds.
For sure. It wasn't just swapping travel stories. It was like this exchange of high-level knowledge, showing how connected things were across Africa and Asia even then.
But maybe the most astonishing part is his journey to China. Yuan, China.
That's the real kicker. The records are a bit sparse, okay, but they point to him doing more than just visiting.
Like what?
Like studying Mandarin, acting as an ambassador between the Somali coast and Chinese officials, even helping with trade relations.
That's incredible because it makes him one of the very first Africans we know of in Chinese history, yeah. A pioneer in Afro-Asian diplomacy.
Truly. A genuine pioneer.
It almost sounds unbelievable, though, for the 14th century. Could you just briefly touch on the dangers? The sheer difficulty of a trip like that back then.
I mean, the scale is just monumental. Think about it, thousands of miles. Deserts, oceans, unfamiliar territories.
No GPS, no phones.
Exactly. You've got pirates, political instability, disease. The risks were immense. Just surviving was an achievement.
So the fact he could engage in scholarship, in diplomacy, it says a lot.
It speaks volumes about his intelligence, his resilience, and also, the networks that must have existed to even make such journeys possible.
Said passed away around 1361. But his legacy, as you're saying, it completely challenges that old idea of Africa being isolated.
Totally undermines it. His life proves Somali scholars were right there at the forefront of global diplomacy, education, exchange, centuries ago.
It really restores this truth, doesn't it? That Somalia and Africa more broadly has always been part of the global picture.
Yes. Said traveled further than most people anywhere in his time, and it wasn't for conquest. It was driven by faith, by this thirst for knowledge, and just incredible courage.
It really makes you think. Building bridges between cultures, seeking understanding. In an interconnected world, we sometimes forget existed back then.
He wasn't just a traveler. He was, like you said, a bridge builder.
So to wrap up, Said of Mogadishu, a powerful, undeniable example of Africa's long history of global engagement and diplomatic influence.
Absolutely. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other stories like his, stories of intercontinental exchange and scholarship, are still out there waiting to be uncovered? And if we found them, how might that reshape how we see global history, maybe even how we approach international relations today?